Hey y'all, ready for a scary story right before you go to bed? Well, we are at White Rock Lake, and you already know, if you're from here, what we're about to talk about. The Lady of the Lake. So, there's about 3 or so different stories of the Lady of the Lake. Now, before we get into it, let me just point out that people have done studies and things like that on this, and there is no record, no actual factual record of this actually happening, right? There's been incidents in different states that are similar to this, but definitely not here in White Rock Lake. Now, having said that, lived here, long enough and know the history about White Rock Lake, there has been a lot of things in the past where supposedly bodies were dumped here, and a lot of people died here, things like that. So is it possible that there are spirits here? Well, that's not up for me to decide, but I can tell you this: I've been coming to this lake, so let's see, elementary school, probably 6th grade, right? And every single time I come by, I do get some chills down my spine. So I'll leave that up for you guys to decide if there are real spirits around here or not. So anyways, back to the Lady of the Lake. So the story has it, as we turn into this little parking lot, is that there was a bride, a couple, right, that had gotten married, and supposedly there was an accident on the boat and they drowned, and a couple was parked around here, mind you. Back then, the earliest story that we have is about 1943, I believe, is when it was, right? So it definitely did not look like it looks right now, okay? So keep that in mind. So anyways, a couple was parked here, doing what you do here at the lake, right? Late at night, and eventually, suddenly, they see this lady with a white dress, soaking wet, right? They obviously lowered down the window just to see if if she needed any type of help, right? And she's like, yeah. She explains that her and her husband had just gotten in an accident, and if they could give her a ride, they give an address. So that address is known. I'm not gonna put it on the screen because there are people that still go to that address, but it's unnecessary, right? So the point is that they go to the address, they get there. When they turn back around, the lady's not there anymore, right? It's just a puddle of water. Yeah, so nobody there, puddle of water, right? So, since they're at the residence, they get out, they knock on the door, and a dude answers, right? Like a dad, and he's like, yeah, that was my daughter. She drowned 3 weeks ago. And so, that was the first instance. So it was kind of creepy. And throughout the years, the story has it that people do keep on going to that address and they keep getting the same story. Okay. So that is one. Another one was that apparently a couple, same thing, they were right here parked, but in this case, they were fighting, right? It was just a girlfriend, boyfriend, teenagers. They were fighting, and eventually something happened where I guess the brake got released, and the car started rolling forwards, and ended up going into the lake. And kind of same thing, somebody was driving just exactly how I'm driving right now. Well, actually going the opposite direction. and you know, obviously the driver sees this lady, same thing, white dress. And as the years go by, the story gets a little bit more detailed. Now they're saying that the dress is kind of like a white laced up dress. Now they're saying that it's coming from North Park, from Nordstrom's to where, if you're from Dallas, you know Nordstrom's is a very, very popular store here, right? So that added details made the story, that legend, become more and more real, right? And now here's another detail they added to the story as well. It's like, oh, I live down the street right here on Gaston. The first story took them all the way to Oak Cliff. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that part. So it is farther down, right? But this next one was, you know what, I lived right here down Gaston Avenue, right? So the story started becoming a little bit more real. So that's the second one. And the third one, which is actually the one that I started with, there's a cemetery right here, which I was gonna show you, but it's extremely dark. And it's kind of creepy. As I've said in my videos before, this type of things is really not my cup of tea. But thanks to y'all helping me get out of my shell a little bit more, that's why I'm here. But honestly, if I wasn't making videos, I wouldn't be here by myself, because I'm by myself. Usually when I come, it's with somebody. Yeah, this is just not my cup of tea. That's all it comes down to, right? But anyway, so the one that I heard, there's a cemetery right here off of Fisher, and it was creepy to me because I used to come down here to Fisher a lot. So I always was around here, and then the first time I saw that cemetery, it was, you know, even more creepy. And mind you, I was probably in 9th grade, 10th grade, you know, things like that. So, you know, still naive, still believed a lot of things. That yeah, somebody died here on the lake, the Lady of the Lake, and she stays here because she was buried in that cemetery. And legend has it that if you go and stand on the grave, you'll feel like some hands grabbing your legs and kind of trying to pull you down into the grave, right? That's why I kind of stay away from the cemetery. Now, is all of this real or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not up for me to decide to debate, nothing like that, right? But it definitely makes me feel something. So, and so that's why you keep seeing her in this lake, because she doesn't have any peace. So she just keeps coming and haunting this place. Now, I also wanted to do this story because so I found out that it's just not being shared as much. Like, the legend of the Lady of the Lake is kind of going away, right? Which is fine. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But me, myself, that I kind of grew up in a way with it. I don't know, it's kind of cool coming to White Rock Lake at night and be like, oh my gosh, it's the Lady of the Lake gonna pop out. I'm like gonna have a puddle in the back seat, right? Especially right now that I'm alone. Like, honestly, like, if I feel something touching my shoulder or something, I'm gonna lose it. Like, that's it, I'm done. So but anyways, so that is the story of the Lady of the Lake. If you have heard a different version, so there are other versions, but those are the three main ones that I keep coming across, that supposedly historians and journalists and things like that have researched. And that's why I started this video saying, hey, so this has been researched and no actual evidence has been found that this is a true story. Okay, so there you have it. I hope that was a good story right before y'all go to sleep. So next time you're around White Rock Lake, especially at night, look in your back seat and see if you don't have any water. For me, that's it, and I'll see y'all on the next bedtime story.